Hello, I'm Crickets, and welcome back to I Have a Story. And welcome back to my snow globe, because it still has not stopped snowing. This is the lightest it's been all day. We had basically blizzards, 30-mile-an-hour winds, and complete whiteouts. It's been snowing non-stop. So, I thought I'd make a My Life Monday video here and talk about how I obtained my first pew pew, or bang bang, or whatever we're allowed to say anymore. This is another reason I haven't been on the air as much lately. I'm struggling with all of it, including just we're not even allowed to talk and say words anymore. You can say the word pew pew, but don't you say GUN, or else then you get censored, and because they mean the same thing. And just words hurt us because we're strong Americans. Oh my God, I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of the Constitution being toilet paper. This is the United States of America. We have the freedom of speech, and if you don't like it, then why are you making godzillions of dollars off of us in censoring us? I've had enough. I've had enough of all of it. But here I want to talk about how I got my first pew pew from a retired sheriff. Now, I talked about how I used to do an awful lot of protecting victims and hearing about stories and people coming to me for help and not being able to say no. I've also talked about how there's been times when I've had to go through people's doors, and there's other times where the threat wasn't that imminent. I just had to call 911 and put an end to it before it did. So one of those instances that I called 911, the police show up, explain the situation. They got to know me over time because I called them many times, and they supported me in what I did. They wanted to do it themselves, but their hands are tied. And they're tired of watching all these criminals. You know, they put their lives on the line to arrest criminals. This is nothing new. We want to act like this is just now happening. This has been going on for over 20 years. This was back when I was in my 20s. This is nothing new. It's been going on forever. Their hands were tied to arrest criminals. I mean, they can arrest them, but our institutes just turn them back loose. We don't care. I've even talked about how I know it firsthand with my brother and how bad that has been. Wow, the snow is just whipping around. I'm over on this side because it's a little more quiet and not as much wind, but it's just snow clouds blowing throughout my yard. You can see a little bit behind me there. So one of the instances where I called 911 and was explaining to the officers the situation, they were actually going to take me through the front door with them and guided me up there. And as I'm walking up and we're standing on the front porch in front of the door, and this officer was an ox. He was huge. He had to have been 6'7", 6'8", 300 pounds, built like a rock. He was huge. And he looked at me and he said, "Where's your gun?" I said, "I don't have one. I've never owned a gun. Don't have one." He looked at me and his jaw about hit the floor. "You're going to do this and not carry a gun? I am a lethal weapon. I don't need a gun." I mean, not that I wanted to fight him, but wasn't even afraid of him. I don't care how big and bad you think you are. I've watched guys half my size take down guys twice my size. Size does not matter. He looked at me and goes, "You need to go sit back in your truck, and don't you ever call us again and not have a gun. Don't you ever be out here without having a gun. And don't you ever leave your house if this is what you're going to do and not carry a gun. Do you understand the situation you're in?" I was in my 20s. I don't care. Well, I learned to care, especially after I was kidnapped the time I was doing that. One thing he taught me was how to kick in a door. And for anybody in a situation where you need to get through a door, most people, I did, my first mindset was to kick where the knob is. He showed me, no, you walk up to a door, turn around and put your back to the door and just back kick it at the bottom corner. That way you're not just trying to break out a door frame. You actually twist the door, and it creates leverage and twists the door, and doesn't always just break it through, but it twists the door enough to be able to pop loose. He was so big, he walked up, and it was literally like somebody just trying to push open a door that was already unlatched. He didn't even use any effort. He just popped, it was open. And then he looked at me and goes, "Sit in your truck and we'll come back out." So I went out to my truck, sat there and waited for him. When they came back out, he told me, "You need to go talk to a friend of ours. He's a retired sheriff," is what I was told. and that he'll hook you up. So they gave me the address. I didn't have the guy's phone number. They just gave me the address. After he retired, he opened up a shop on South Avenue in Toledo, Ohio. It was where South Avenue dead ends into the Maumee River, right on the river, on the northwest corner of South Avenue. I'm going back over 20 years ago, remembering this. His shop was outstanding. It was amazing. I was in awe. It wasn't just an automotive repair shop. It was a customized Harley, race cars, and hot rod shop, and he did amazing work. I was like a kid in a candy store, just oodling over everything he had in there. It was amazing. And then that also was a setting point to him and I to gain another relationship. But I met the guy who was claimed to be a retired sheriff, and he gave me what was called a Saturday night special. It was a 38 Arminus. Arminus is the name of the company. It was a 38 Arminus revolver. And he said, I heard what you did, and I want you to know you got our support. And if you're going to be doing this stuff, don't you ever leave your house without this gun. That was also the same gun that was used against me when I was kidnapped. She gave him my gun. The girl I was trying to protect gave them my gun to use against me. Oh, the story that's coming. And this is all documented. So I got my first gun from a retired sheriff. Now, you can't tell me that isn't just beautiful out there. It really is. Looking what I can see on my screen, that's why my eyes squint. If you see me making these videos outside with the snow really hurts my eyes, but it's still beautiful. So that's where my first pew-pew came from. Oh, screw it, gun. I'm an American. I'm going to talk like an American. I'm not going to use words to make me... Oh, it might hurt my feelings, even though the word means the same stinking thing. But don't say that word. Say another word. Let's just keep deluding the people. That's all this is. God, I'm so sick of it all. I'm sick of it all. But I thought I'd share with you, though. That's where I got my very first... back in my teens, 20s, I was one of those people who hated them. Why the person who invented that should have been used on himself, buried, and never seen that thing again. Why do we need these? Well, the truth is, it's not a matter of why do we need those. It's why do we protect criminals? Why don't we keep our society safe? Why do we just keep deluding people and making it about words and not about the severity of the situation? It all just feels like such a game and a joke.